talk about how to tune your CB antenna. The first thing you're going to want to do is get away from as many structures as you can. Don't do it in front of your garage door or your house. Go out in the street if you can. We are going to go to an empty part of the desert. Okay, a few things to be aware of before you start tuning. One, you want to make sure you know what kind of antenna you have. This is a Fire Stick. Fire Sticks, generally speaking, have what's called a tunable tip. So it's a tip that you twist up and down when you take this cap off. If you don't, if you have something like a stainless steel antenna, you're going to have a set screw at the bottom where you can slide the antenna up and down. These are the two easiest methods of adjusting an antenna. The third method that I'm aware of is you actually have an antenna where you have to snip off portions, and those you want to be a little bit more careful because, well, you can only snip off so much before you go too far. But let's get the antenna on and then go inside and start tuning. Come on, you. There we go. The next piece of this is your SWR meter. I'll leave a link below where you can pick these up. They're really cheap and they are very much worth it. If you're having problems with your CB, having an SWR meter is really helpful. You can diagnose a lot of problems with this cheap tool. Your CB is probably easier to get out. Mine lives down in this hole, so I kind of have to shimmy it out of here. But we're gonna disconnect the antenna wire coming out of the back of the CB. And we're gonna connect that to our SWR meter. Like so. And then we're going to connect the SWR meter to the back of the meter, or to the back of the CB. Okay, so we're all set up here, right? We've got our CB and our power meter, our SWR meter hooked up. Let's go ahead and turn on the CB. Don't need sound, so we're just going to turn the volume all the way down. And we're going to go to channel 1 first. Start on channel 1. Okay, now this is a power meter and an SWR, so we're just going to ignore the power functions for now. We just want to do our SWR. We're just trying to figure out how well is our antenna going to perform, basically. All right, so we're going to set this power and SWR to SWR. Then on this side, we need to set the switch to FWD. This is going to allow us to set our baseline for testing. So we're going to key the mic down, and we're going to use this calibrator to turn the needle till we're on set. Okay, we're on set. Perfect. Now we're going to flip this switch down to REF. And this is our SWR on channel 1. You can see the needle barely moves. That's actually a very good rating. We want that to be as low as possible. The higher up on this meter you are, the worse. The lower, the better. Perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the same exact process, but we're going to flip it over to channel 40. All right, channel 40. Put that to forward. Key up the mic, adjust our set, calibration. Okay, we're on set. There we go. Let go, flip that down, boom. Okay, that's about 1.5. So that's actually a very good setting as well. But what this tells me is that the antenna needs to be adjusted. The idea is we want this reading to be as close as we can across channel 1 and channel 40, meaning that when we do this test on channel 1 and 40, we get close, roughly the same number. That's going to give us a very similar SWR reading across every single channel and really give us the best performance across all the channels. So this tells me though that because channel 40 is higher than channel 1, the antenna is a bit too long. So we need to go outside and adjust it down. Now to make this easier to show you guys, I'm going to take my antenna off. You'll want to leave your antenna on, but for the Fire Stick, we got to take this cap off. It's usually pretty tough, so I recommend pulling this off before you start the process actually. We're going to use a little cheating tool here. This is a pretty old antenna. If yours is a newer antenna, this will be easier. So remember when I told you guys you'll want to check what kind of antenna you have? This is why. Clearly what I have is a much older Fire Stick. I didn't know this because this is just an antenna I picked up at a yard sale, honestly, because I wanted a shorter antenna. But here you go. See, look, this has no tunable tip, right? So because it has no tunable tip, I would actually have to go and clip the top of this in order to tune this. This is not something we're going to be tuning because I really don't want to cut this. I'm just going to put another cap on it and leave it. Mine is, my SWR is actually really good. But if you have one channel that's extremely higher than the other, you're going to want to adjust that. You just want to keep your, stuff out of the red. That's basically what you want to do. You want to keep it below 3. 1.5 and lower is completely ideal. 2 to 2.5 is okay, but you want to keep it as low as possible. And this really sucks. If I had known this, I would have grabbed a different antenna. Well, it is what it is. So there's the quick and dirty on tuning a CB antenna. Now, one thing, if I would have had a tunable tip, I would have brought it out, but this is the antenna I run all the time. I like the height of the antenna. It seems to function really well, so I wanted to test the SWR on it and see what it was like. But this is a really good example of why you need to know what equipment you have and also what antenna you have before you start this, because if you don't have a tunable tip, you're going to be doing a little bit different process to get this to work properly. Basically, you just have to know how much you need to cut off, and there's a calculation. It's like an 1/8 at a time or something. So just look that up. There's directions with these meters that tell you how to do it, and just follow them carefully. If you don't have a tunable tip antenna, I recommend getting one. They are really the best way to go. I have some, just mine are very long. I have like 6-foot antennas, and I don't want to stick a 6-foot antenna on this thing because I will smack everything going anywhere. And I don't want to do that. So that was it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe down below for more content, and we'll see you in the next one.